There's a second generation of LED outdoor luminaires right now. The first generation, and this has happened throughout our industry with every new source that comes in, mimicked their preceding products. So fixture companies took the traditional shoebox, overhead, whatever the box was. They'd already tooled that. They had it made already. They shoved LEDs into it. We see it happening now with interior fixtures as well. So it looked very much like the old one. But over the last few years, the unique nature of an LED, having these individual discrete light sources cumulatively on a strip or a board, allowed for a redesign of the fixtures. So now the fixtures have been reimagined, that plus the need for different kinds of thermal management. So at the Street and Area Conference last week, when you walked the floor, they didn't look like shoeboxes. And very few things look like Cobra heads. Very, very slim profiles, low EPAs on the poles, a very different type of product, and some revolutionary new optics. Some micro optics that go over each individual chip that allow multiple distributions within the same fixture to eliminate the problems that Terry's talking about. However, as so many of us have mentioned, it requires a professional to order these and install them correctly, and of course there is no shortage of bad lighting jobs, so there will continue in that vein. But the products exist to do it in this second generation, as Charlie mentioned. And that driver, again, is cost. And the slide that I've got on the screen is a major retailer who took one of their stores, and the store happens to be in North Carolina, and they tried, they had existing 1,000-watt twin metal halides on 30-foot poles, and they tried 4 different brands of LED area lights over a 1-year period. So they would put up 2 rows of one brand, and then they leave 2 rows of the 1,000-watt HIDs. 2 rows because you could get a minimum in between. You get a good uniformity idea. And then they have 2 more rows of HID and 2 rows of another brand. And then after 5 months, they took those down, they put up another set. So they compared 4 different area lights, and they ended up with a product that uses 114 watts and 1-for-1 replaced their 1,000-watt metal halides. Now that is counterintuitive, but it's an 84% energy savings, so they went ahead and did this on a couple more stores and hired a third party to come in and sub-meter the lighting to verify the savings. Had the DOE walk the lot to verify light levels and that it was acceptable. And they've proceeded down this vein with these LED light fixtures, and their returns were very fast. So you look at the numbers up here. At 2007 stats, there's 131 million street and area lights in the country, and you start to talk about savings in that 50% or greater number, and it's a huge driving force. Last year, there was an international study done on 15 sites in 12 cities that showed similar results, savings up to 85% by conversions to LED, staying within the IES standards.
Okay, let me ask you about that.
Yeah.
So what, half a foot candle minimum?
Yes,
half a foot candle minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, so, it was funny. The brightest point was 1.9 foot candles, and the darkest was 1.2. Uniformity was amazing.
Okay. So, but under the high pressure sodium, was it high pressure sodium or metal halide? 1,000-watt metal halide. I'm going to assume you had maybe 15 or 20 foot candles directly under the pole.
Very good.
In the hot
spot.
spot.
About 16.
So in essence, what has happened is this parking lot was now designed for the lowest common denominator, the half a foot candle. So it is uniform, but it's uniformly dark, right? It's half a foot candle now throughout the parking lot.
But the increased color temperature allowed for a perception of brightness in this lot, and these were coming in at about 5,500 Kelvin. So this was an increased perception of brightness that was enough visually to make people feel that it was brighter than the 1,000-watt metal halides. Now, these had burned in for a while, so these weren't brand new metal halides.
I'd love to see that parking lot redone new with a 200-watt metal halide, or with 150. You know, you could design it with the existing technology and the existing optics, probably to achieve the same foot candle levels. And I'm not trying to trash the LED, but it's, you know, that story I think sounds great on an economic perspective. But, you know, look, we don't have all the lighting facts, but if you design it to be 80% less foot candles and it's 80 or 90% energy savings, I just
But you can't achieve the uniformity ratio. That's
Right.
I don't think the
The
best
uniformity,
HID
yes.
fixture can get you like to a 2-to-1 uniformity ratio. It's
Right.
gonna be more like 5 to
I
1.
think the other aspect is the controllability, which, because codes are now requiring us to set back lighting in that kind of application, from midnight to whatever times, I can take that every fixture there very easily, using wireless technology to talk to all the fixtures and take the fixture down 30% or 20%, whatever I want with LED. I can't do that with the HID sources, so it allows me that additional energy savings, allows me to meet code, and I can turn the light on and off instantly as well, which I can't do with the HID sources. If I lose power momentarily, those HID lamps will drop out, and with LED, and they won't come back on for 15 minutes or whatever.